All right, let's talk about something incredibly serious today, character assassination. And I want to be clear from the start, this isn't just about gossip or some simple disagreement. What we're going to unpack is a calculated psychological weapon, and it's truly one of the most devastating tools in a narcissist's entire arsenal. So let's get right into it.
So what are we really talking about when we say character assassination? It is absolutely crucial to understand that this is not some heat-of-the-moment argument. No, this is a deliberate, systematic, and honestly, often a very long campaign with one single goal: to completely obliterate someone's credibility, their reputation, and their standing in their community.
So for our first section, we're going to break down exactly why this is considered such a lethal psychological weapon. We're going to look at what makes it so fundamentally different from a normal conflict, and maybe most importantly, who ends up becoming a target.
And this is where you can see a really sharp line in the sand. You know, a common conflict, that's usually a two-way street, right? It's about specific issues, and usually there's some kind of path toward resolving it. Character assassination, though, that's a one-sided war. It's not about solving a problem, it's about total annihilation, all to protect the narcissist's incredibly fragile self-image.
So who finds themselves in the crosshairs at something like this? Well, almost always, it's someone who was once really close to the narcissist and then dared to challenge their control. Think about a partner who finally ends the relationship, or a colleague who just won't be manipulated anymore, or even a family member who starts setting firm boundaries. The moment the narcissist feels rejected or exposed, they don't just get mad. They retaliate by trying to destroy that person's entire social value.
So how does an attack like this actually play out? In this next section, let's completely dissect the anatomy of the campaign itself. We're going to look at the specific strategies and tactics they use to systematically take apart a person's reputation piece by piece.
Here's the absolute key to understanding this whole thing. The entire campaign is built on a massive inversion of reality. The narcissist's #1 goal is to completely flip the script. They will work tirelessly to convince absolutely everyone that the real victim is actually the one who's unstable, aggressive, and abusive, while they, the narcissist, are the poor, suffering one.
You know, there's actually a core mechanism for these attacks. It's a strategy known by the acronym DARVO, which was first described by psychologist Dr. Jennifer Freyd. It unfolds in 3 predictable steps. First, the narcissist will deny they did anything wrong at all. Then, they attack the person who's accusing them, questioning their credibility, even their sanity. And finally, they reverse the roles of victim and offender, positioning themselves as the one who's been wronged. It's a terrifyingly effective playbook.
Now, a narcissist almost never works alone. They recruit allies, often people who have no idea what's really going on. In psychology, these recruits are sometimes called flying monkeys. These are the friends, family, or colleagues who get manipulated into believing the narcissist's story, and then they become tools in the attack, spreading the lies and isolating the true victim even more.
And the attack from a flying monkey often comes disguised as concern. For example, you might hear a sentence like, "Juan said you were being unstable. I hope you're doing better." See how loaded that is? It delivers the smear, it signals that the lie is spreading, and it reinforces the victim's isolation, all under this fake mask of sympathy.
And all of this, of course, leads us directly to the devastating consequences. So in this section, let's turn our focus to the really profound and multifaceted impact this entire campaign has on the person being targeted.
Socially, the damage is just catastrophic. Friends start to pull away. Family members start expressing doubt. Colleagues become suspicious. The victim's entire support network, the very people they need to turn to, is systematically eroded, leaving them feeling completely alone to fight a battle against a reality that's been totally twisted.
And then internally, the emotional fallout is just immense. Of course, there are feelings of rage and powerlessness from the constant injustice. But what's truly, truly corrosive is the self-doubt. The victim starts asking themselves, wait, could they be right? Am I the problem? And that internalized questioning is exactly what the narcissist wants, because it leads to deep shame and social withdrawal, making the victim even easier to control.
Let's be perfectly clear about this. This is trauma. The psychological impact is absolutely comparable to prolonged direct aggression. Victims often develop symptoms like persistent anxiety, insomnia, and hypervigilance, just being in this constant state of high alert.
Many even experience responses that are very similar to post-traumatic stress disorder, like intrusive memories and really intense emotional reactions. So what you end up with are these two parallel realities existing at the same time. To the outside world, a narcissist has painted this picture of an unstable aggressor. But the victim's private reality is one of constantly reacting to abuse, of being totally isolated, and of enduring this relentless attack. Living in that kind of psychological dissonance, it's just exhausting and so deeply damaging.
All right, for our final section, I want to explore what might just be the deepest injury that happens in all of this. We're going to look at character assassination not just as an attack on someone's reputation, but as a fundamental wound to the human need to belong.
When you boil it all down, this is best understood as a form of relational trauma. The core damage isn't just about the words that are said. It's about the complete destruction of the victim's connections with other people, the very fabric of their social life.
And that's why it hurts so much. I mean, being recognized, validated, and respected by our community, that's a basic psychological need for all of us. Character assassination comes in and directly attacks this pillar of our identity. By systematically turning people against the victim, the narcissist severs their sense of belonging, and that creates this incredibly profound and painful wound. You know, unlike a physical injury, this damage is completely invisible. There are no bruises, no broken bones to show anyone. But the attack itself is continuous and insidious. The narcissist basically creates an invisible prison where the victim is already discredited before they even open their mouth, making it almost impossible to defend themselves or to prove what's really true. And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question. When a person's story, their very narrative of who they are, has been stolen from them and twisted by someone else, how do they even begin to rebuild? It's a long, long road. It involves therapy, finding validation from trusted circles, and the slow, incredibly difficult process of reclaiming your own voice. Thank you for watching.